Hi, this is Cherri Glaze Makeup and this is a tutorial on how to apply and set your liquid foundation. After I've moisturised, I put a primer on my skin to make sure that my skin is smooth and easy for my foundation to grip to. You don't need a lot. I use a very small amount. There are so many different primers out there. Different skin types, for redness, for oiliness, for dry skin. You don't need to use the primer, but I like to. Smooth it in, just rub it in gently, all the bits that you're going to put your foundation on. I have big pores on my nose, this is why I use the primer. Fills them in and flattens them out. As you can see, I've got a big red patch there where I squeeze a pop spot, which I shouldn't have done, and I have a spot right there. I'm going to show you how to cover those up with some stuff that I suppose you might not normally see. And they're called corrector pots. The green one is on the opposite end of the colour wheel as to red, which obviously my spot is. I take a little bit on my finger, on my ring finger because it's the softest bit, and I blend it in, making sure that it's not a big bob of green on my face. And I do that with the same on the other one. It does look really weird when you first put it on. And I get a lot of redness around my nose. Now this one's by NYX Cosmetics, and I think it cost me £4 or £5. And you can see where it's gone green, and this will just counteract it, so when you put your foundation over the top it'll get rid of the red. They also do yellow ones for under your eye area. This is if you've got slightly bluish, which I do, but it's not really that bad today. You can get orange ones that will also counteract it if they're really, really purple. Right, next I usually use liquid foundation. You can get different ones. I don't like to use powder on my face because I get quite oily and it cakes, but I've got Clinique's even better. You can get mineral powder, which is the loose one, pressed powder, but I usually use that afterwards, and the other one would be, what other ones even, are cream foundations. These are really good as well. These are really easily blendable, but I normally go for liquid. And I put a little bit on the back of my hand, and I have lots of different brushes that I can use. My favourite at the minute is Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I think it's cost about £10. You can get it in Boots or on Amazon. The other one I like to go to as well is the Real Techniques Stippling Brush, which is around about the same price from the same places. It depends on what you're comfortable with, but I find these really easy to use. I used to use a flat brush, but I found that it streaked and it didn't really do the job I wanted it to. But for ease of use, I'll show you how to use this one, because this one's simple. And you basically dip it in, and then you pat it on all over where you want it to go. Especially over the spots that you want to cover, all over the forehead. You don't need a lot with this foundation, but it's always best to start off with a little bit than a lot, because you can always build it up. And now, circles in the face so you can buff it in. Down the neck. You want outward circles. Make sure you get into all the small little hard to reach places. It's all buffed in. going to buff out all of the lines from the brush. Remember, if you need more, just squeeze a little bit more in your hand and use the brush again and dab it on and lightly go over the top. Now my concealer. I use NYX Mineralize and it's liquid. There are different brushes again for the concealer. You can get little flat ones like this, which is like a little foundation brush, but I don't find that it works very well, and that's why I like to use a blender brush, a clean one that's only ever used for concealer. And I dab my brush in and underneath my eyes, which I like to conceal. I like to use this one because it buffs it out, being that it's a blending brush, so it's a bit more natural. Now if you want really flawless, you do a little triangle and it'll completely conceal, and then you buff it down. So you're looking at there to the corner of your eye. Do it the same on the other side. And you can see my puffy lines. I'm going to get a bit more concealer and I'm going to put it on the spots that I had earlier, just to make sure that they're completely and utterly camouflaged. Same brush. And then around my nose again. Remember, just circles, buffing it out, blending it in. Alternatively, if you've got a beauty sponge, the egg shaped, I did have one, but I don't know where it is, wetting that and rolling it over does exactly the same. It's like airbrushing, just covering up all the spots. Okay, you need to let that sink into your skin for now. Just making sure that everything's buffed in. Just going to go over with my brush yet again with the rest of the stuff that was left on it from before. Doing underneath my eyebrows, so they look lighter. I also like to try and blend in concealer afterwards with my stippling brush. I like to set my foundation after I finish that with my MAC Mineralize Skin Finish. It's in natural. You don't have to do this, it depends on what your kind of skin type is, because if you've got really oily skin then I recommend using that or Dr. Feelgood from Benefit. It's a little bit pricey but it lasts a long time, and it's just a round kind of mattifier and you get a little sponge with it. You can put that over powder as well, it doesn't have to just be over the liquid foundation. So you've let it set a bit. You get a fluffy brush, you press it in, and I'm pressing it in a lot because you don't need loads. Tap off the excess, then swirl into your face. And this will just set all the concealer, all your foundation. This is the best one I've found that gives you a natural finish. Brushing it all where you've done it. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you.